welcome back everybody. It is Malik, and we are going to do one more here tonight. We're going to go ahead and knock out the BudgetServe web hosting. This is a harder mission, only in the sense that it is a combination of pretty much everything we've done so far. It is a little bit of dynamic pages. So we're doing some directory transversal, understanding directory structure. It's a little bit of parameter tampering. It is some SQL coding, where we're going to do a SQL injection. The thing that makes this more difficult is definitely understanding directory transversal and where you set in relation to where you want to be, because it can get tricky, especially when you're dealing with something like a web server, because web servers have different subscribers which have their own set of folders, and those folders can go as deep as they want, so you got to know how far to back up or how far to move forward to get where you want. But let's play with it. Let's see where we can go. Okay, so we have BudgetServe. Space 46 hacker community has been taken down by not by mindless script kiddies, but by an uptight network admin. Help Space 46 get his files back so he can restore the community and find a better host. Alright, so I'm Space 46 from Space 46.nod. Up until recently, it used to be a good host, but the company got new owners, and some lame hosted site was deleted somehow. The admins think it was me, and they suspended my account. Contacted them to get my files back, but they refuse. As it so happens, I made a backup, and he tells us the name of his backup file, which is good for us. And my web root named src_targz right before the account was suspended. Can you get this file back so I can move to a better host? Okay, so we do know it's in the web root, so we're looking for space 46, and we're looking to get src_targz. That's what we want. That's the space, and that's the file. Alright, let's take a look at BudgetServe. Alright, well, like we've always done, we need to get a feel for the page. We need to see, what it's written in, how the URLs look, sometimes how the source looks. So if we start just following these links just to see what happens at the top, we see page.pl ? Page equals main, page equals features, page equals FAQ, terms, pricing, webmail. Okay, PL, that's Perl. This is definitely being held on a Linux box. They even say down here your site could be on Red Hat, SUSE, or FreeBSD. They even have Windows 2003 servers. But BudgetServe is being ran on a Linux box. Alright, which means we can possibly pass it Unix commands up in the URL. Okay, this is something very similar to what we did in the basic missions. In fact, we passed this exact command in a basic mission. What if we want to see a list of any folders or files that they have on this site right here? Now, the only difference when you put it inside of the URL, you put a pipe around it. So you put a pipe on both ends. So that's the shift and the key just to the right of the right bracket above the enter key. So we're going to we're going to add that onto the end. We're going to get rid of we're going to keep the page equals, but get rid of the name of the page, and we're going to put that command at the very end. Sorry, give you a second to kind of remember that command to get a listing. Okay, let's go ahead and do it. It is pipe ls pipe. Again, I know it's kind of hard to see up in the top, so it's nothing but this. Pipe ls pipe. Okay, well, what you should have gotten back is files and folders. That's right where we're at. And there's some in here that look pretty interesting. Admin looks pretty interesting. Oh, the BSD base, looks really interesting. And the client HTTP docs looks interesting. Again, this is a web hosting service, so we can pretty much assume the client HTTP docs are their client web pages or their client websites. Okay, admin is probably going to be the portal that the webmasters log into. The BS database, that could hold a couple of things, probably usernames and passwords. Because these are not in the individual client websites. These are actually on BudgetServe, on the web hoster's site. Okay, why don't we just take a look at some of these? How about we just come up here to the top, get rid of everything after 11, keep the 11 slash, and type in admin. Okay, there's a service panel there. Okay, that may come in handy later. Okay, so I'm just gonna I'll keep that open. Okay, we'll come back to that one. Now, we can't just go right into the database, so we got to get to that some other way. Let's see what's under client HTTP docs. So, client underscore, oops, I meant to get rid of all that stuff. Client underscore HTTP underscore docs. Okay, so we got some clients here. Oh, there's space 46. Well, let's take a look at them. Potato Works, currently under construction. Now let's see about space 46. Account's been suspended. The White Ray Radio. Okay, that one's up. And Wonder Diet. And that one's up. Okay. Not much on Wonder Diet. A little order block down here, which will take us to an order form, but nothing really there. Space 46 is okay, but it's been suspended. Now, what if we could just get that file we wanted from here? src tar gz. Nothing. Alright. Worth a shot. Okay. So we can go ahead and back out. Let's go to this one. The White Ray Radio. If you can't get to we don't have any way to log in to the portal, to the admin portal, without a username and a password. But maybe we can get to it through one of their clients. So this page has a login, username and password here. Something posted up here by R. Smith. Click on R. Smith. This brings up his little icon. Basically, it's like a little information box. And he has an ID. His ID is -1. Level 2, there's this email, no site, 15 posts. Well, if you go up here to the top, you're going to see ID equals, and it says -1. Well, that's fine. What if we take a look at ID equals 1? Okay, well that's Foxfighter at mail info, 16 posts. How about ID 2? Okay, Jesus Fighter. Well, most of the time, ID 1 is going to be your admin. But sometimes it could also be ID 0. This doesn't actually mean he's our admin, but he was the first one in the list. Oh, and look who it is. It's R. Connor. Hey, it's our friend from our last mission. But look at what else we get. Now, we didn't get this with the -1 or the 1 or anything, but we did get it with him. Well, if we can go in here and change his password, that means we could log in as him. So, I'm going to change his password. Oops, make sure I spelled it right. No, I'm going to go ahead and copy his name here. I'm going to change his password, then I'm going to edit the account. I'm going to continue. Okay, so his profile was updated. So why don't we just log in as him? Okay, cool, we're in. Now, is this helping us out? Well, we can see, because we logged into a different site, really what we need is the administrator's password though, because then we could log into the admin portal. But you notice when we're here, we don't just have that person's name and the logout, but we have a mod panel. That's their moderators, which is probably why he's up at the top. So he's not an owner of a site, but he is a moderator of these forums. So they're running SQLite, baby version of SQL. So it even tells us SQLite access for moderators has been tightened to read-only due to the recent security breach. So apparently they've been having issues here. But this is where we can go in and write our SQL queries. Okay. And it says it's tightened to read-only, but that's okay. All we need to do is read it. We don't need to. We just need to spit stuff back to us so we can see where we're going. We don't need to modify anything from here. So what we need to do is we're looking for username and passwords. So we want to see all of the tables that are in this company's website, not the Right Way Radio, but all of the tables that live inside of this web hosting company. I forgot what their name was. Okay, so do a little research on SQL, because what we need to know is how to do a SQL injection to send us back all of the tables from where we're at. So check out that. And then even how to pull the information from the table once we know the name of the table. So I'll give you a minute to take a look at that. Okay, so now I'm going to type it. I'll go ahead and type it in Notepad because it'll be a little bit bigger than typing it inside of that box. When you type a SQL query, not just an injection but a regular old SQL query, there's three keywords: select, from, and where. So we want to select the name from. Now, this is just knowing SQL. If they're using SQL, the main database that holds all other databases is called SQL_master. And SQLite is called SQLite_master. So we're going to say SQLite_master. Where the type equals a table, and they are single ticks, and it ends in a semicolon. Okay, now that's what we're going to put in here. So we're selecting the name of the tables from SQLite master, all of SQL, where the type is a table, and click on SQL query and continue. Okay, what we get back, we get back a bunch of tables. We get back a table called name, a table called users, a table called quotes, etc., etc. This is not what we want. These are all of the tables that belong to this site. I don't want the tables that belong to this site. I want the tables that belong to the company that hosts this site. So, how do we modify what this box does? Remember, if you right click it, this is why I love Firefox, right click it, inspect the element. Take a look. The element that it highlights is the field itself, the input name, SQL query, value select, blah blah blah, what we typed in. But look at the field above it. It says input name equals SQL_DB, value equals rwr.dbase. That's the database we just pulled all the tables from. It's not the database we want. Remember I mentioned earlier to remember something? That one. That's the database we want. The trick is, where is that thing at? Okay, so I'm going to go back here and double click on RWR DBase. I need to back up out of the right way radio, out of client HTTP docs, and back again to get to where BS dbase is at. So I'm going to put, and I'll type it inside the box here because you'll never see it in Firebug. This is what I'm going to type in place. It's going to say, this is already going to be there, but it's going to be value equals, what I'm going to type in, dot dot backslash, dot dot backslash, dot dot backslash, BS dot dbase. That's going to be the value. So that's what you're going to type in, the dot dot backslash, dot dot backslash, dot dot backslash, BS dot dbase. Dot dot back, dot dot back, dot dot back, BS dot dbase. I'm going to click away from it, and it's still in here, so I just have to run it again. Now we get name and we get web hosting. Okay. Well, this is the one that looks probably the most promising. I want to select everything from web hosting that I can. So what we're going to type in that field, in the query field, we're still going to do a select. But when you want to select everything from web hosting. And we don't need to put a where, because we don't need to specify. When you're doing everything, we don't need to specify. We want to pull back everything, not where certain criteria meets. We want everything from it. So select star from web hosting. Okay, well, there's space 46. There's his username. There's his password. Well, that's been suspended, so that's not going to do us any good. There's the White Way Radio that God sorted out. There's Wonder Diet. Sucker every minute. Okay. I do believe this could come in very handy. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to type this in here. I'll use Wonder Diet. It's Wonder Diet and it's sucker every minute. Okay. So I'll give you a minute. See if you can figure out how to get back to that admin panel that we were at, where that username and password was that we saw right at the beginning of this mission. Because this is where we're going to put in this username and this password. Because these are the administrators of all the websites, so they can get into the admin panel. Okay. Of course, the easiest way to do it, now that we know that it's admin, is just to go back up here and type in admin. Now remember, it was what, space 46 and not of this world. But that doesn't help. Account's been suspended. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. I'm going to go ahead and log in as Wonder Diet and Sucker Every Minute. Okay. So it shows where we're at. We're at var www, budget serve, HTML, client HTTP docs, Wonder.it. We can upload, we can do new, we can edit, we can download. Ooh, download. That looks good. We're just in the wrong spot. Well, with security, you cannot transverse from another folder right around here. And see at the top, we're just at the admin portal. But that's only because the real URL is hidden. I'm going to go to any of these GIFs. Select it, click on download. Okay. We're 99% of the way there. Take a look at the URL and figure out what you need to modify to get. Where is it at? Where is it at? It's up here. This file from this folder. And go up here where I can see all the end. I'm going to keep the client HTTP docs, but get rid of everything else. Space 46 / src.tar.gz. Hit enter, and you should get, congratulations, you have completed mission 11. Probably the trickiest part of that whole mission was being inside of one of the websites and knowing to back out page folder to get back to the main database. That was one of the trickiest parts, and dealing with a bunch of different pages. And this is typical for a regular site. You know, regular sites aren't just 2, 3, 4 pages. You know, we can be dealing with 20, 30, 40, 50 pages. And you just need to find a vulnerability in one in order to hit the other one. So, congratulations on getting by one of the harder missions. Alright, so, again, if you like the videos, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what I can do to help you guys out if you like these things. If you want to see something else, definitely let me know. We've got a ton of other missions to do. Again, I got to figure out which ones I'm going to. I think I can do some Stego missions. They're pretty cool. There's some really neat ones in there, as well as I've got to get into the DVWA and a couple other Metasploit things coming up. So a lot of things coming up. So keep an eye out. And until then, guys, have a great night, and I'll see you soon.